Thank you, Tommy. Like Tommy said, I'm Doug Brucki. I'm a CPA by day and a drummer by night. It's actually a very common combination if you think about it. There's a whole big society of us called Beat the Books. We were a lot more popular during the Enron days for some reason. Not sure why that is. So I'm the assistant controller at Citizens Trust Bank. Of course, there is no controller, so I'm the assistant to no one, technically. Not sure if that's a message from management or not. So my boss is in the audience tonight, up there somewhere, which surprises me, because Sam loves to work late so much that he's turned 8 o'clock into the new 5 o'clock. Not sure how many employees it takes to screw in a light bulb, but it takes 4 employees to write a report for Sam. One to prepare it, one to review it, one to verify it, and of course Sam, who always has changes, and the process starts all over again. Imagine preparing a 10K for a perfectionist. Sorry about that. Imagine preparing a 10K for a perfectionist. I'm just happy to get through the cover page without a comment from Sam or our auditors. Speaking of auditors, sitting at my desk one day, and I get a call from our main branch downstairs. Said there's an issue with the night drop box. So I go downstairs to see what the issue is. Turns out there's hundreds and hundreds of letters stuffing our night drop box and jamming it up. So I look at the letters. They all have the same return address of a famous accounting firm. So I called the accounting firm up and said, hey, you have thousands of letters in our night drop box jamming it up. What's the deal? So after a couple hours, they called me back, and turns out one of their fine young auditors had confused our night drop box with that of a United States Postal Service mailbox. So I'm not sure what happened to the young auditor, but you can ask him yourself. He's working at Taco Bell on Ponce until 2 tonight. And speaking of auditors, why do they always send like the most inexperienced people to do some of the most important tasks of an audit? I've personally seen inventories where the client was pointing out which items to count. Now that's not a red flag at all. And why is it that accounting firms always ask you, sorry. Why is it that accounting firms always ask you about fraud? And they say, are you aware of any fraud that you've not disclosed to us? Really? Has there ever been a client who said, I'm so glad you asked that? Because I've been cooking the books for years. So I have a 26-year-old son, and I had Benny so young he was almost at my high school graduation. He's up in the crowd. So, thank you. So I had Benny very young, and I found out about Benny from a phone call from my girlfriend one Saturday morning. And to say I wasn't popular with her parents already was a little bit of an understatement. I was a drummer in a punk rock band at the time. We were called the Scabs. So, yeah, we came up with that on our own. So I was a drummer in a punk rock band, and I just knocked up their 18-year-old Catholic schoolgirl. So I was about as popular as Obamacare in Texas right now. So I quickly came to the realization that I was going to have to go meet her parents that morning. And I was literally shaking so bad, my father had to drive me. So we're driving along, and Dad's just staring at me with that disappointed look a father can give you. Just staring at me. I'm shaking in the passenger seat uncontrollably. So I decide I'm going to lighten the mood and turn on the radio. And guess what comes on the radio? Papa don't preach, I'm in trouble deep. Papa don't preach, I've been losing my sleep, but I'm keeping my baby. True story. Then the next song that comes on is Let's Get It On. True story. So after my divorce, I tried speed dating. So basically, you get 20 girls and 20 guys in a bar, and the guy rotates tables every 6 minutes based on when a bell rings. So I met some pretty interesting people, and I had a fun time doing the speed dating. But one girl in particular stands out to me. We were on our third date at Woodfire Grill on Cheshire Bridge, and she says to me at one point, "There's something I got to tell you." Like, okay, yeah, fire away. I can only show affection through physical violence. Really? You can only show affection through physical violence? Are you gonna stab me in the spleen if I say I like you? Are you gonna drag my heart out of my body if I say I love you? So a million thoughts were racing through my head. The only thing I could come up with, check please. So I'm on the HCG diet right now. Who's heard of the HCG diet? A few people that I work with that I've told about. So basically, you have the opportunity to eat 500 calories a day, and you give yourself daily HCG hormone injections. So it's a lot of fun. There is one little side effect. I can actually pee a positive pregnancy test right now. Sure, I can. Of course, that made for some interesting conversations at the bank when they did random drug testing. At one point, I was called into HR. Surprise, surprise. They were a little curious as to why one of their male employees was peeing a positive pregnancy test. So a lot of thoughts were going through my head, and I decided I was just going to run with it. And I told them, HR don't preach. I'm in trouble deep. HR don't preach. I've been losing sleep. So, thank you very much. You've been a great audience.